like not even looking or paying attention. Like that's B-roll.
Hey guys, how's it going? I am really excited for this live video. So I'm sure you guys, if you're tuning in to this live, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get the secret hack, secret sauce, some secret strategy, right? Max's secret to success, and I'm gonna share that with you. But what I can tell you is that it's not gonna be what you expect. It's gonna be something different. It's gonna be something a little more emotional, a little more personal, and I'm super excited to share it because I really don't talk too much about. I keep my, I have my personal Facebook and stuff, but I keep my, like, on the professional side, I keep my kind of personal and professional life pretty separate. I don't overlap the two of them too often. So I kind of, do my stuff on the personal side, and obviously work and life balance, still working on it. So there's still a lot of stuff that falls over into the personal work life area. But in terms of just like generally sharing and being like super, live streaming my personal life and everything I'm doing on the side and on kind of when we do fun things, it's I don't really share that, right? I kind of keep that for myself. But I thought it was, important to this live because we sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, I focus so much on business, right? And direct response marketing and Facebook ads and super technical stuff. That's it's very analytical. It's very data driven. It's very like one-sided of the kind of your brain, right? And the reality is that being a successful entrepreneur, running a successful business, to do it, you need to deal with a lot of shit. Okay? You're gonna fail so many times. So many times you are going to fail. You are going to hit obstacles. You are gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get kicked and punched and scraped and sued and stolen from, and everything you could think of, it's gonna happen, right? Because it's happened to me, and I built multiple companies. And I remember when I first was at business school and going into my business law class, my junior year in college. I remember this vividly. It was the first day of business law, and it's like, okay, it's a requirement, I got to take it, but like it's irrelevant. Fucking who are you? You think lawsuit's something big thing, right? That happens in these big cases. So the first day, the instructor said something. He said, "Listen, there's 100 of you in this class. Said 80 of you are going to be sued. At some point in your life, you will be sued." And we all thought that was crazy. It's like, what, 80% of us are going to be in a lawsuit? That's crazy, right? The guy was right. You run a business long enough, you get sued by somebody, right? So you deal with all of this negativity. You deal with all of this hate and trolling and just constant shit. And it happens to this day. And so what's important, what's the success formula, isn't so much that there's this indirect path to success, right? There's these indirect people and things and strategies that make you successful. And a lot of them, they support you when things are not going wrong, right? Because if you're a solopreneur and you're just a single guy or single girl and you're running a business, right? Who do you talk to, right? You have a rough day, somebody sued you, you got hit with a bunch of chargebacks, you had somebody troll you on Facebook, like, who do you share that with? Who do you talk to about that? And unfortunately, a lot of people, I was making this kind of, I was making this is more like an emotional live, so that was my emotional stance, but I'll put a hat on for everybody here, right? Sach is watching this, and Sach is at my mastermind in Phoenix. And this isn't like it's not like I always wear hats. So even during mastermind with 80 people, right, paying $5K a pop, still wore a hat, right? Everyone else is wearing suits, I wear a hat. That's what I do, right? That's who I am, and I got trolled for it, right? So back to the point, right? Like the transition, right? So, like, you need to have that person to talk to, and if you don't have that person, you go crazy, right? Like it's almost impossible. I couldn't imagine it, right? Like going through all the stuff that I've gone through the last 5 years, and it's been longer than that, but specifically the last 5 years, where it's really taken off and things have started to really move rapidly. Dealing with that on my own, like I couldn't fathom it. It's impossible. Like if I didn't have somebody to like hold the brunt of the stuff that I was dealing with on a personal level and a business level, no way I'd be here today. And so you know, the secret to success is a partner. And when I'm saying partner, I'm talking specifically about a life partner, like my fiance, right? So Larissa is my, you know, partner, right? And so for anybody out there, it could be your wife, could be your husband, could be your, you know, your significant other, whoever that is. Like that is a X factor. Like that is a secret weapon. And I know that sounds kind of like mushy and emotional. I'm like, oh, that's bullshit, right? The reality is it's not. It is not. It is directly related to my financial success. It's not, hey, well, I have somebody to talk to my feelings and share my feelings with. It is more than that. It is way beyond that of my ability to have somebody there that cares more about me than I care about myself, that is willing to deal with the hard times, to deal with the times you can't pay rent, you can't do anything, right? Sacrifice everything, put off getting married, all these things to like grow the business, and then to deal with you, because here's the thing, and I'm sure some of you watching this can relate. I can relate because I've been through it a bunch of times. When you're winning, right? When you're on a tear and you're you know, things are going great and the company's growing great and you have a 2 Comma Club plaque and all this stuff, everybody wants to be your friend, right? Everybody wants to be, hey Max, let's hang out, let's do a deal together, let's work together, let's do this, right? That's easy. Like being successful, that's the easy part, right? That's what you don't really need support then. And sometimes people had success early and they forget that. Like you see a lot of people that they become millionaires really young and they end up being single for their entire life because they just don't understand the importance of that until something goes wrong and then they're just depressed and it's really nasty. So everybody wants to be your friend when you're successful, right? Like you think about it, right? You go to who was at TNC this past week? Jeremy was there, a bunch of our partners, and we had a bunch of people there. Like, you know, last year we had a booth there, and you know, Tai Lopez is walking around. And he does the same thing. His bodyguards, he has a team, his whole posse that comes around with him. Everybody flocks to Tai. Everybody wants to be Tai's friend, right? Because Tai is Tai. Same thing with Kevin. When we go to events with Kevin, everybody wants to take a picture with Kevin. Everybody wants to be his friend. Everybody wants, hey, can I do this for you? Can I help you with this? Can I do this, right? And so that's what happens when you're successful. The problem is all of those people, for the vast majority, I would say 99% of those people vanish when things go wrong, right? If tomorrow, and again, this is a extreme example, but like I would bet this would be a fact. If tomorrow, like, Tai Lopez went bankrupt, right? You found out that, like, and I'm not saying this because Tai is legit. I genuinely know that his backstory and stuff, and he's brilliant. He knows his target demo is, and he speaks to them. And it's 18, 25 okay, guys. That's the demo. That's what he liked. The cars, the girls, and stuff. So he speaks to them. He's brilliant. But if like he went bankrupt tomorrow, or anybody, Grant Cardone, whoever, like if they went bankrupt tomorrow, and it came out that like they were, you know, they actually were scamming people, and they didn't earn their money legitimately, and they're getting sued, and they're going to go to jail. All this stuff happened, right? Overnight, they would lose a massive chunk of their following. And not just their following, they would lose a lot of friends. They would lose a lot of business partners. There would be very, very few people who would stay by them, which is crazy because they're huge, right? And it happens all the time. You watch these shows like American Greed and stuff, where there are these guys that were huge figures, high flyers, and they get sued, they go to jail, stuff like this. Everyone disappears. Everyone vanishes, right? And so it's so important as an entrepreneur to be successful to have a person there that isn't running away. What's up, Jason? How's it going? That isn't running away when shit gets tough. That does the opposite. It's like the Navy SEALs or Secret Service, right? They train for years to run towards gunfire and into danger instead of running away from it, like the vast majority is a program to do, right? Fight or flight. So having that partner that runs to damage and danger and runs in when things go bad, when everyone else is fleeing, that's what's up, James. How's it going? That's the success. I mean, that is the secret. Like, that is having that person in your life that when shit goes bad, they're the first one there. Everyone else is running away and trying to get as far away from you as possible, and they're thinking of what I can do to help you. What can I do to support you? Just like, can we talk about it, right? And you know, I've been through enough ups and downs. Listen, I'm only 20 years old. I'm not 40, I'm not 50. I haven't been around that long. But in the last 10 years or so, I have personally been involved in a lot of different companies. I have made a lot of money. I have lost a lot of money. I have been through the ups and downs. And what I can tell you is that every entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur is going to go through that roller coaster to get to the top, you go through a roller coaster, right? There's no direct line. Every path to success is like this, right? It gradually goes up, but it's ups and downs, right? Ups and downs. And like I said before, on the downs, people run away from you like the plague. On the ups, everyone flocks back. Hey man, sorry, I dropped off the grid. I was, something came up. Sorry, it was miscommunication, right? That's what happens. I've seen it happen so many times. It happens like clockwork. It's a guaranteed thing to happen. So having that person that no matter whether it's an up month, a down year, a down 5 years, that doesn't give a shit because they're not with you because of who you are as a business person. They're not with you because you're an influencer. They're not with you because you make lots of money and have a fancy car. Like having that person in your life that is there because of you, because of like who you are as a person, right? Beyond the material stuff and what you produce. That is without a doubt, I obviously listen, like there's a lot that goes into building a business. So I'm not saying that like, hey, find a great, fiance or great, husband or great wife and you're going to be a millionaire. Like I'm not saying that, right? There's a lot that goes into building a business. But what I am saying is I think the difference between people that are super successful, people that aren't, is having that rock, right? Because I can't tell you, like, I don't know how she does it because I've been through some shit, especially the last 3 years. Probably this year's been great, but like 2 years before, the last 2 years before that, like I've been through some stuff, and having that having her there, that's there every day, rain or shine. There's no day off. There's no off week. There's no checking out to go do something, right? Like you're there 24/7, 365. Thick and thin, rain or snow, money or broke, you are there. Like that is something that, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion. Some people might watch this and be like, total, it's sappy bullshit. Like I don't agree with them. This is my opinion, right? And what I've found, and I know a lot of successful people. I know a lot of people who say they're successful and aren't successful. I know a lot of people that used to be successful and aren't successful. And what I do know is that a lot of the people I look up to, who are mentors of mine that are super successful, have incredible families, have incredible significant others, right? Ezra Firestone has an incredible wife. She's involved. She speaks to the events. They post stuff all the time together, right? He even runs ads. He runs sponsored ads with just like talking about him and his wife. Like it's crazy, right? But he can't, like that's because that's important to him. And that's why he's so successful. That's part of the reason. Pat Flynn, another one of our clients and partners, incredible family guy. Like he could be making so much more money, but he values his family time. He values his ability to travel. He was at Disney World last week in our neck of the woods, right? Like that's way more important to him, and that's a huge factor of why he's successful, right? And so all these people that I've gotten to meet over the last few years, that I've gotten to build relationships with, I started to notice these things from these individuals, right? Even Cardone, right? Cardone, like super man, like salesy guy, but he's got his wife, right? And she's right with him. Right? She's super involved in his business. She's super involved in his life. And so yeah, I think it's so important. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because Larissa's on the road right now, so I know this is one of the few times that I know she's probably not watching the live, because usually she's always watching my lives because she cares about me and she's there for me, and because she can hop on the phone, she gets a notification. So she was taking the bar the last 2 days, which by the way, like my life, what I do for a day, I have so much fun what I do. Like I would never trade shoes with her. Like she went through law school, right? Just go to like to go back to school. Like, oh man, I couldn't do that, right? I couldn't do it, right? I couldn't sit through classes and lectures and shit anymore. So she went through law school, finished law school, studied for the bar, taken the bar. The bar's been the last 2 days in Tampa. So I know she's driving from Tampa right now, which is like a 2-hour drive with traffic. And so she was taking the bar. So I was able to I need to get this message out here because I'm super proud of her for taking the bar, for finishing law school and everything. And so this is kind of my way of like knowing I can do this without her seeing it, and she's going to get it tonight because I know she's had a rough 2 days. It's exhausting. So hopefully this will cheer her up as well and put her in a little better mood. But yeah, I mean, it's super important. And, honestly, I had no idea how this live was going to go, right? Like, I thought when I was writing this, I was like, okay, this is going to either flop and, like, nobody's going to watch this, or we're going to get a good turnout. And I'm happy to see that we actually have 20 people watching. That makes me feel good knowing that, like, people that watch my stuff and follow me are actually good people and good human beings and actually relate to this and value content that's beyond just me talking about ads, right? Because that's not what it's all about, right? Building a successful business is way more than being able to put together really good ads and create a great landing page and a great offer, right? It's so much more than that, especially for entrepreneurs. And I know a lot of you are entrepreneurs running your own business, right? Like, you can't do this. Like right now, it's 6:25, right? I just left our Jeremy's house, which is kind of the first order commandeer in terms of the Unicorn House with our entire team. Spent all day working, shooting content, just doing a ton of stuff for our community. And now I'm here doing this live. I have a phone call after this at 7. Like, it doesn't stop, right? You work nonstop as an entrepreneur. And so, to do that and to live this, you need to have things like that. You need to go beyond just the technicals, right? Because you can be a great operator, you can be a great technical person, right? You could have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and you could be a great data person and a great offer creator and a great marketer and all of that. But if you don't have a support system, if you don't have somebody, whether it's a family, whether it's a best friend, whether it's a wife or a husband, like, two things. One, I'm getting used to, like, so Carl and Kristen from our team, you guys, I've introduced you to Kristen. It was her birthday the other day. They're two of our team members. They're awesome. Introduce you to Carl soon, but they're making me shoot this more horizontally instead of vertically, so they can, because they're doing all the content in the group and stuff. So they're clipping my videos and all that stuff. We have a new video editor, so I gotta accommodate them and listen to them. So I'm still getting used to, like, not having a little view here, but. Back to the point. So two things: if you don't have the support system, right? You don't have the friend, the family, the wife, the husband, the fiance, the significant other, whatever it is. One is you don't have that support system. You don't have that literal support system, meaning that, hey, I got a shitty day. I got a cease and desist. I got served today, and it's from the Supreme Court of Massachusetts. Like, shit can happen, right? And if you're alone and you're like, okay, I just got this really, really fucking terrifying letter, and I'm scared shitless, and I have nobody to talk to about it. Like, who do you talk to about that? You need to have somebody. And I just, luckily my fiance is also a lawyer, went to law school and stuff, so that's great for those things. But like, having somebody that when that happens, when that bad thing happens, hey, a deal fell through. Hey, you didn't get that loan you needed at the bank. Hey, you got sued. Hey, the product's going to be late. Hey, whatever, you got hacked, whatever it might be. Like, having that person you go talk to about it, huge. And it is such a undervalued asset in the business world in terms of people talking about it. People do not talk about it enough. Again, because we're such operators. Like, we talk about business stuff. We don't talk about personal stuff. And so it's not discussed enough, and it's so important. It's such a critical part of being successful as an entrepreneur. And listen, we as entrepreneurs, as much as we try to separate the two, and that's what I was talking about before, the reason I don't share this stuff usually is because I try to separate it. But as much as we try to separate this, we can't. They're one and the same. Unicorn and a personal, it's the same. They are intertwined, right? My best friend's my business partner. We work every day. Like, I can't separate the two. They're the same thing. And so instead of trying to separate them, you can try to figure out, okay, well, how can I use the best of both worlds, use my personal life, my resources there to support my entrepreneurial endeavors, and then use my success in my entrepreneurial endeavors to support my personal life, right? That's a win-win. Now, the second thing, so first, having that system, obviously, is to have the support, people to talk to, people to be there for you when everyone else runs for the hills. The second is purpose. This is a huge one that nobody talks about, right? Purpose. We talk all the time about money. Everywhere you go on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you go, events, you hear people talking about money. How much money you made, right? All these e-com groups, these ClickFunnels groups, whatever it is, like, hey, I made 6 figures this month. Hey, I made 7 figures this year. Hey, this is me on a private jet. Hey, this is me in my Lamborghini. Hey, this is my big mansion, right? And it's frankly sad. And listen, it's not sad to like things and to want to share those things, right? I'm guilty of it. I like cars. There's certain things that I like buying, and I have fun sharing that experience, right? But that's not my why, right? Like, I could lose my car. I could lose my cars, my car, my house, whatever. I could lose all that tomorrow and not care because I have a meaning. I have a purpose, right? I have this partner. I have Larissa, who like that's way more important than money, right? Because we've been through it broke. We've been through it with money, like, and we have each other, and we make it through no matter what. We always make it through it, and so at some point, what you realize is like, once you have the things that you aspire for, right? So most people getting started that don't have money, they're like, I can't wait to buy that 6-figure car, right? I can't wait to buy that nice home. I can't wait to buy that nice watch or go out to that $12,000 dinner or whatever, like whatever it is, right? Like everyone has those things they have in their head, and I can't wait for it to happen. What I can tell you is that it will happen if you work your ass off and you do what you love. You will achieve that. Might be 5 years, might be 10 years, might be 1 year, right? But you will achieve it. And when you do, you realize that like, I mean, this was cool. Like, yeah, it's fun to drive a car around that everyone takes pictures of, and people come and like want to ask what the car is, right? That's fun for a while, but at some point it doesn't fulfill you anymore, right? It's like, okay, yeah, it's you know, yeah, it's a Lexus LC500, yeah, they don't make me $400 a month, right? Like, thanks. Like, it gets boring, it loses its impact because it becomes normal. Once it becomes normal, it doesn't feel special anymore. The reason getting a Lamborghini or going to the car dealership and spending $100,000 plus on a car is like a cool thing is because it's not normal, right? If you lived your entire life driving, you know, $20,000, $30,000 cars, and then you can go get a $110,000 car, $20,000 car, whatever it is, and drive it off the lot, like that is, it's breaking a pattern. It's like, this is freaking cool. I've never done this before, right? But then you drive it every day for months, and it's like, well, this is my normal car now, right? So now you can either go up the car ladder. Now, I want a $1 million car, right? Or I want a jet. But at some point, if you get all those things, there's no more going up, right? There's no more material things that you can buy that are going to have the same impact on you, right? So when you're first getting started out, there's enough motivation in achieving those materialistic things to push you to that point. Once you get to that point, it doesn't have the same lift. It doesn't have the same push that it did getting to that point, right? So you can do, you know, what Ty does, and you could just start buying a shit ton of cars. Like the dude has more cars. I mean, you literally, he could drive a different car every day of the month and probably still not drive all his cars, right? My first investor in the Daily 100, which was my first company out of college, my partner Nick Haas, our first investor was called a guy named Francis Wisniewski, and he's based out of Chicago. He ran a hedge fund called Hard 8 Trading, and he was on the show $1 Million Garages. That's how we actually found him, and we cold called him and got him to invest in us. It was crazy. That's a story for another day. But we flew out to Chicago, went to his house. He had the sickest, biggest house I've ever seen in a city. Like I'm talking about a mansion, but imagine like a mansion in downtown New York City or Chicago. Like, it was crazy. It's like you're off like one of the main streets in Chicago, office towers, big buildings, and there's like this big fucking mansion. I don't know how he got it or did it, whatever. He had a 2-story garage that was probably bigger than pretty much most people's homes. It had car lifts. He had a casino in it. He had Segways. It was insane. The dude had like 50 cars. He probably had $10 million worth of cars in that garage. And at some point, like, it loses its impact. Like, if you have that many cars, you're no longer like buying the next car doesn't motivate you or excite you like it did when you bought your first one. That's a fact, right? So you will never. It's like a drug addict. Like, you're chasing that first high. You'll never get that first high again, right? That first high is done. Everything beyond that point is chasing that high. Same thing with money. It's like that first big purchase, that first luxury car, that first $1 million home. That is the single best feeling you're gonna get. And then each subsequent one's going to feel great. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're going to lose excitement in buying nice things, but it's not going to have the same oomph, the same feeling in your stomach, right? Like, holy shit, this is happening. Like, pinch me, right? And so having the fiance, the husband, the wife, the partner, whoever it is, that's that person that's more important than money. That's how you stay motivated, right? Because now you have a purpose that's bigger than you, right? It's no longer about how many things I can buy for myself. It's about, hey, well, I want to make $10 million this year, because I want to start putting away money for my kids' college fund. I don't have kids yet, but I want to start saving today because I know we're going to have kids and I want their college paid for. Like, that is so powerful. Think about that, right? Like, think about how much more motivating that is to now have other people that you want to make money for. It's no longer like, because again, you lose the excitement of, once you buy those first few things for you, you lose the excitement. And here's a great example. Do you get, and maybe I'm weird, but I'd imagine that there's a lot of people in this live that are the same as me. Do you get more excited giving an awesome present to somebody or getting an awesome present? So let's say it's Christmas and you just bought, like, this is what I did. So I bought my Larissa, she has a stepbrother, but he's 13, so he's kind of like her, like almost like kid, like the age gap. Larissa's 31, he's 13, so we're like the cool aunt uncle. Like, we kind of take him for the weekends. He has we play video games together. We go to Dave & Buster's. We have a ton of fun, and I like spoiling him. So, like, last Christmas I bought him an Xbox One. This Christmas I bought him a Switch. Right, the kid's a great kid, and he wants, he's a kid. He wants cool things. So I'm able to get him those things. Like, giving him that present and seeing him open that was way, way more rewarding for me than any present I got for Christmas. And, like, is that the same for you guys? Like, do you get more excited at seeing somebody open a really awesome present you got for them, or getting a present? Let me know. I want to get some more interactivity in here. So I genuinely want to know what excites you more, giving or receiving. Right? So, two options. I can, be excited about getting things, and listen, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. Yeah, Gabe. So I agree. I think giving an awesome gift and seeing that reaction, awesome. That's why I love, like, Christmas time, because, like, some of you guys watch my live for Christmas this year, right? So this year for Christmas, Larissa has a dream bag, like a dream gift list, right? And it was a Louis Vuitton bag. And I was able to get that for her. And I was so excited. Like, I was so pumped about it. I was like, I got her the dream bag. I'm so excited. Like, I couldn't wait for her to open it, right? I was more excited Christmas morning for her to open that present than for me to open anything, right? It's like, it's awesome. It's hard to put into words how exciting that is to give something to somebody and see the reaction, right? That's what we like giving to charity, right? Like, we like feeling like we're doing something bigger and making an impact on other people. And so take that logic and that mentality and now apply it to business, right? Now imagine you had that same drive and excitement and motivation in growing your business. That's powerful. That is true power. Like, that is such a powerful tool that is so underappreciated and so under-discussed that is crazy. That's why I had to do this live. I had to do this. I didn't care if one person watched it. I didn't care if 0 people watch it. I don't care if 100,000 people watch it and it goes viral. I don't care. I just needed to say it because it's important, right? And if it helps one person, like, not be depressed and get the support they need, like, that's my job for the year. Like, I'll be happy. So again, imagine that you now have somebody else that you care more about in your life. Now you run your business. Now imagine that power. It's crazy. It is so powerful because that's what drives me, right? Like, what drives me is the fact that, hey, we're funding our own wedding, and sure, we could cut corners and we can get we can elope, we can do a really cheap wedding, but I'm like, no, fuck that. You get married once. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna have 100 plus people there. We're gonna have the best venue. We're gonna have the top shelf liquor, and we're gonna make the money, right? So if you need to make $40,000 to pay for it, we'll make $40,000. We'll do it. Like, that is a driving factor, right? If now you are working your ass off with the goal of fulfilling other people's dreams, it's powerful stuff. It's really, really powerful, and it is without a doubt driven me more as an entrepreneur, having people in my life like that than not having it, right? Because there was a period when I was out of college, when I was running my last startup, where I didn't have that. I was single and didn't have anybody. And, obviously I always have my family, and I love my family more than anything, and I want to give them a better life. But, like, that person that's with you day to day, right? I live in a different state than my family. and you know, we talk weekly and stuff, but it's still having that person that's there with you every single day, night and day, morning to night, you know, 365. That's a different level of passion and motivation, and so like the day I was able to start being motivated by giving to others and by making money because I want to do things for our future kids, for our wedding, for your brother-in-law. I mean, that's why you hear about all these athletes, right? Like, what's the first thing that, you know, an athlete signs his first deal, right? Buys a house for his mom, buys a car for his dad, puts, you know, his niece and nephew through college, right? Like, it is in our nature as human beings to do things like that, right? I know that I'm not, obviously if that was our nature for all human beings, we have a really great planet, so it's not everybody, but there is a lot of people out there that's what drives them, and frankly, for a lot of athletes, like that can drive people to the next level, right? If your goal is like, I'm gonna buy that house for my mom one day, that drives you more than just, hey, I want to buy a cool house for myself, right? 10 times out of 10, that is going to drive you and push you harder than wanting something for yourself. Without a doubt. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, I mean, that was my my spiel for the evening. I had no, and I'm totally drained because I shot a ton of video content today with our we have an awesome intern, Will, and he's our kind of video guy, and he's shooting a ton of content. We're gonna start putting out a lot of cool video content. We're gonna do a lot more stuff, like social wise, content wise. I'm really excited about. So like, I was drained. I got home and I was like, oh man, I just want to I want to go over to that new sleep number bed. And again, like another thing, right? I didn't get that for me. I got that for us. Like, it's awesome to be able to get things for us that we can experience together. But I want to get in that bed, and even these guys, right? Come here, Hokie. Come on. Even Hokie. Come on. So even her and Buster. So we got Hokie and we got Buster. This is Hokie. She's looking a little ratty right now because she needs to get groomed. She's usually very clean cut, but she smells a little bit right now. I know. So we got her, and we got Buster. Buster's not out in the office when Mom's here, but he comes in when Dad's just here. Don't tell, and Larissa's gonna watch this, she's gonna know. But like, I spoil the shit out of them, right? Like, I literally can't help myself. Like, anytime I pass PetSmart or a Wolfgang Bakery, which is a really cool company out here in Florida, I buy them something, right? It doesn't have to be like a big thing, right? It could be like a 5-day, like $3 toys for dogs and snacks and stuff. But like, can't help myself. Like, it even gives me joy just to get things for them and their dogs. Like, they're not even human beings. No offense. I love dogs more than anything, but humans come first from the chain, right? She's like, how dare you? How dare you say that to me? But yeah, I mean, having that, like something as simple as having a dog to take care of, right? It's another thing that is depending on you to be successful. It's depending on you for food, for water, it's a powerful thing when you know that there is another living thing, whether it's a dog, whether it's a human being, whether it's, you know, a wife, whether it's a brother-in-law, whoever it is, parent, like knowing that there is a person out there that you can provide to, you can improve their life. Nothing motivates an entrepreneur more than that, in my opinion. Like, I can't think of it. One other thing that is more motivational and inspirational. It's like taking Tony Robbins and like encapsulating them into a group of people, right? It's like that. It's the same level of motivation as like watching a bunch of Tony Robbins speeches and getting real pumped up, but like having that consistently throughout the day and not just these giant peaks of being motivated, right? Because that's the other thing too, is like tangible motivation is fleeting. Meaning that like, you might get motivated, you might see like you might see some guy drive up in a Lamborghini and be like, I want that Lamborghini, like I'm gonna get it. And that might motivate you for a little while, then it's like, it's fleeting. It goes to like something else, right? Oh, I wanna get this, or I wanna get that. And it doesn't, like, you don't have the consistent drive. You don't have the consistent thing that's pushing you. And you also can't measure happiness. Like when you give things to other people, and when you're taking care of other people, you can read the impact it's having. Like you can see happiness. You can see emotion. You can see that like what I am doing for this person, for these people, is making them happier. It is bringing joy to them. Like, it's hard to like do that while you're doing it to yourself, right? You can't really see yourself experiencing getting things unless you get weird and like record a video of you buying your, you know, your six-figure car or whatever, which I guess you could do, and then watch that and be like, oh, he was so happy, and kind of live vicariously through yourself. That's kind of weird, right? So we'll ignore that. So what do you say, Gabe? So, you're welcome. One sec. Sorry, my all of a sudden my phone just came up with like a passcode thing. So you said my biggest obstacle is having support and finding like-minded people to surround myself with. Listen, it's not easy. It's frankly because of how difficult it is, especially. So I cheated. And when I say I cheated, don't take that out of context. I kind of cheated in getting the right girl, meaning that like I kind of Larissa and I started dating in a transition period. Like she kind of knew about my I was ending my last venture and hadn't started my next one yet. So I was kind of like in between things. And I don't think she truly understood like what it was like to date an entrepreneur, like a working entrepreneur who's like involved in a bunch of companies. I think she had no idea. So I really lucked out in like starting to date at the right time, and then gradually introducing her to what I do now. And like she jokes all the time. She's like, I had no idea what I was getting into, because like what she has to deal with today versus 4 years ago, totally different. Like the problems we had 4 years ago versus the problems we have today, running multiple companies, all the stuff we do is like, with the travel schedule and all that stuff, totally different animal. So I got really lucky in that. I got really lucky in the fact that my dad's an entrepreneur, my grandpa's an entrepreneur. So I always have had that outlet. I've always had that person that I can talk to that knows exactly what I'm going through, because he's went through it and he's achieved true success, and he's also dealt with challenges. You know, my mom, having dated like my sister, I was very fortunate in my family, and when I met Larissa, like all kind of stars aligned for people in my life now. Even with Jeremy and having my business partner there, like was super fortunate in the timing of that and things we've been through. But what I can say, Gabe, is it's really, really important to invest in yourself. So it's important to take care of other people, but it's important to invest in yourself. So you can only take care of other people if you take care of yourself first. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. That's the truth. You know, it's unfortunate. It's like there's so many people out there who want to do such good, but they don't have the means to do it because they're too caring, they're too kind, they're too compassionate, and they never achieve success for themselves, and they can't make the impact that like a Bill Gates can, right? Bill Gates, he kind of took care of himself, right? He came out of college, you know, he left college, but he started his company, started Microsoft, took care of himself, built massive wealth, and now he's taking care of the world, right? And he obviously had an incredible woman with him, Melinda, to build his career and his life and share that with. Now they have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So my recommendation to you would be find masterminds. There's a lot of great masterminds. There's a lot of great events. There's a lot of great coaching programs out there that are full of successful, like-minded people who are like-minded, but they're also different. So like Border Advisors, which is one of the masterminds Jeremy and I are in. It's my favorite mastermind by far. It's the one I'll be with forever because I love it to death. It's full of really successful people. I mean, it's $20,000 a year, but they're all in different industries. We have people that are real estate investors. We have people that build homes, the True Plumber guys. Like they have this badass like construction and plumbing company that's blowing up, but they're super successful. But they build plumbing in houses. Like they're doing like an old school business, but they're killing it. We have people that run massive franchises. There's people that are CPAs, accountants. We have a guy that's like this badass custom designer. He makes men's suits, super high end to custom, like all kinds of different people. And we've gotten to build this incredible network of very, very successful, motivated people who come from very different walks of life, very different industries. And that is a really great environment to be in, to get different perspectives, to build friendships with different people who are outside your circle. So the hardest thing to do, I think, sometimes for entrepreneurs, at least for me, because I always get like pushback when I say this because it's like I'm a public face of a company kind of, but I'm a super introverted person. I like a year ago, if you had said a year ago that I would be where I am today in terms of where I'm making a lot of my money, the fact that I'm doing lives all the time, the fact that I had a core, like the fact that I did a 7-hour mastermind, the fact that I speak on stages, like I would think I'm crazy. Like I would say it's total bullshit. You're lying to me, right? The time traveler came back and told me that because I wasn't comfortable, and I still am not really comfortable doing the networking thing, right? Like I never really got the purpose of it. It was always like a, you know, I don't want to be crude here, but like a dick measuring contest where you're going to a bunch of people, you're all kind of competitors, you all want to just go in there and make money and sell things. So everybody there is just trying to sell shit. So it's like most networking events that you go to, most events in general, a lot of the interactions go like this. All right, here's my improv class. Hey, I'm Max. I run a company called Unicorn Innovations. We do digital marketing consulting. We have an educational side of the business. What do you do? And then they spit it right back at you. And then it's like, oh, okay. And if you see there's a way that you can sell them something, maybe you can do the conversation. If there's not, you're like, okay, nice to meet you. Move on. And you do that like 30 times. And then you're like, oh, this is productive. And you leave. You get a bunch of business cards that you never follow up with. I want to be, so this is a serious question again. I got a lot of good response from my last question. I want to get good response from this question. How many, so you give me percent, whatever you want to do here. You go to an event, right? Let's say you go to 5 events a year. How many of those business cards, first, how many business cards do you take? And then out of those, how many do you actually follow up with? I'll start while you guys are ready and thinking about this. I would say that less than 5% of all the business cards that I've collected in my life, I have ever actually acted on. Like, meaning I've actually called that person, I have emailed them, and I think that's might be even high. Right? It's crazy. Like, but we all do it. And we all know the fact that, like, we know both sides of the equation. We know the other person's probably the same thing as us. Like, we're giving them this card, and chances are they're not going to call us. They're not going to email us. This business card is going to go into a pocket. It's going to stay in that pocket for probably the entire event, so 3-4 days in the business shack in the wallet. They're going to get on the plane. Then they're going to get home. They're going to go to their office, their desk. They're going to then say, oh, I forgot it. All these damn cards. They're going to take them out of the wallet. They're going to put them on the side. Maybe they'll leave them on the desk for a few days. And then eventually they're going to clear their desk out. They're going to throw it out. Or they're going to put it into a drawer. And it's going to sit there and never get used. That is the journey of a business card. For most business cards, that is the life, the sad, sad life of a business card. It's the truth. It's the truth, right? And sometimes the truth hurts. So I'm trying to think what my point was even there. So okay, the point was basically going to masterminds and events and stuff. So because of all that, like, I got really resistant to going to networking events because that's the experience. It's so toxic. It's so negative. It's very salesy. It's like, I'm just wasting time. First of all, I don't really like people in general. And I'm going to be truthful there. Like most people, I'm not a great communicator except when I need to be. Like, I'm really, really good at faking being a social communicator. Like, for whatever reason, I was granted some gift. Maybe not even a gift. Maybe it's a curse. I don't know. I was granted some ability to kind of bullshit, and like I can get up in front of a group of people, and I can be like this Max, right? Where it's like, hey guys, I'm so excited. Let's talk about Facebook ads. Let's talk about this great strategy today. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do my 2 comic bill funnel, etc. And I can, put on the smile and like shake hands and talk to people and then be engaging and stuff like that. But the reality is I'm not super comfortable in the situations. And I'd much rather not be in those situations. I'd much rather kind of be here in my office with my lovely unicorn background and all my unicorns here and my Batman stuff and my computer screens, my dogs. I would much rather be in those situations than in those situations. But I kind of have a duty. I feel like I have an obligation because there's things that I know that have worked for me that have helped a lot of people that I can share. And so I have an obligation to share those things that help people. And, that's what I'm going to do. So the reality then is, if you want to build that support system, if you don't have that partner, both on a business standpoint and a personal standpoint, if you don't have that person, you need to be outgoing. You need to put yourself into uncomfortable situations to find those people. Because the reality is, you are not going to find that person any other way. Like, if you don't have that person in your life right now, you are not going to find your future wife or your future business partner or your future best friend sitting in the office. It's just not going to happen. Let me see, Shane has a question. If I meet somebody that is something I want, product, service, opportunity, I typically try to understand what they do and then try to figure out how I can provide value to them first. Then I can prove my worth. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, so the reality, like, and I like to think I do the same thing, but unfortunately, the reality is that like most people don't think that way, right? Most people are egotistical and they're driven by what's in it for me, not how can I get to that point. Like that's what we did with Kevin Harrington, right? Like that's how we got to be business partners with somebody that high profile, with having no track record. Like when we did, this shit's crazy. And I have a call in 6 minutes. I apologize. I didn't think this live was actually going to be a hit. Like that wasn't a hit. 26 people watching it live at the same time. But I didn't think this was going to be like one of my more watched lives. So I said like, I'll just do it for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I'll hop on that. So I do apologize. I do have a call that I got to hop on in a few minutes. But so I'll have to tell you the Kevin story before, like another time, because that story is crazy. Like we had no reason. It's crazy. I talk to Brian Alps all the time, like his son. Like even Kevin, we joke about it. Like they trust. I mean, they put a lot on the line to work with us, and obviously ended up working out. We have a great relationship still. Obviously, we're not business partners in Quantum, but we still do a lot of deals together. We're still really friendly. We made a lot of money together. But like when we started the business with him, there was nothing that we could point to. Like, hey, I have one of the biggest Facebook ad courses, and we're the 2 Comma Club, and I'm on ClickFunnels website, I'm on Shopify's blog. Like, we had nothing to point to. That was yet to happen. But we put ourselves out there. Jeremy put himself out there because he's the one that built a relationship and provided the value first, like Shane's talking about. So it is important to do that. That's how you build those relationships. But the biggest point I want to make, because I wanted to make this last point, and then I can continue this conversation later, is, if you don't, so the challenge with being an entrepreneur once you're out of school is that you are no longer in environments where you're likely to meet people. And it's challenging, right? When you're in school, you always are in opportunities to meet people, right? When you're in high school and college, like everywhere you go, there's new people. There's parties, there's things that you can socialize. It's like common. So the chances of meeting a best friend or a fiance or a husband, like that's very high in college and high school. But when you're out of college, out of high school, and you don't work for a company, and you're an entrepreneur, like self-employed, you are no longer really in situations on a regular basis where you encounter other people that are outside your circle already. So you kind of live in this bubble and you don't go out of it ever. And then all of a sudden years go by and you all of a sudden are isolated and you don't have the support system. And so that's why it's really, really important for us as entrepreneurs to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, right? You gotta be outgoing, even if you're not happy being outgoing. You gotta put yourself out there. Otherwise, you won't meet those people, right? And you need those people. The reality is that you need that person in your life, and it's worth it to be uncomfortable to find that person because it's going to benefit you substantially down the line. Yeah. So it's I really wanted to Othman. I'll go. I like honestly the purpose of this live was purely to talk about personal stuff. So I want to keep this super like concrete and about that to keep the energy of this live. I'd be more than happy to answer that question on I'll do another live tomorrow, and I'd be more than happy to answer go back to the marketing stuff, right? But I got to run because I got a call to hop on in like a minute and a half. So I just want to make sure I can like end this on a positive note and keep the theme throughout it. So anyway, I am super grateful and I'm super I wouldn't say surprised, but I'm very happy to see that so many people that are part of our Unicorn Nation and kind of part of the tribe are engaged. This content resonates with them and engaged with that. It really does make me happy knowing that like when I talk about stuff like this, it doesn't go any one after the other, that people kind of tuned in. Because what I thought was going to happen is people were going to tune in and they were going to hear I wasn't talking about business. I wasn't talking about like secret marketing tips, Russell Brunson style strategies or hacks or whatever it might be. And he's a family guy too, by the way. Russell is a great family guy. He has a lot of kids. I think he's got the kind of the Mormon family, big family going. But so another great example to follow. But it's great to know that that this topic, once people log in and said, hey, he's not talking about that stuff, I still want to listen to it. It's still important to me. That is awesome. That's an awesome feeling. It makes me feel really good about doing this. And it's something that I want to continue talking about because, again, not enough people in our space, both marketing and entrepreneurship, talk about the work-life balance, talk about the personal life, the importance of relationships. It is a very under-discussed topic. So if this is something that resonates, that you guys enjoy, I will definitely start to schedule more lives like this, where I talk more about my personal life, the things that are helping me there, that do have an impact on business, but we're going to talk more about that. So I'm excited that that's an opportunity, and I look forward to doing that going forward. So on that note, I gotta sign off, unfortunately, because I'm having a really fun time talking about this. But unfortunately, I did sign off. I do have a commitment to hop on a phone call. So if you're just hopping on now, definitely watch the replay because we cover a lot of really, really important stuff in this live. And it's been one of my favorite lives I've ever done. Without a doubt, this is my favorite live I've ever done. And yeah, really, really excited about it. Looking forward to doing more of these. If there's anything that I can answer, if there's any questions that you have for me about these topics, feel free to comment below, or friend me person on Facebook and send me a message, right? I know sometimes people don't like talking about this stuff in public. They like to talk one-to-one about it. I am more than happy to be a sounding board to talk to you about that stuff, whatever I can do to support you. So if you want to do more privately, just send me a private message, right? And I'll get back to you there as well. So on that note, have an awesome, awesome evening, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. We'll get back to marketing tomorrow. How does that sound? Awesome, guys. Have a good night.